Alright, so today I'm going to be bringing you guys a brand new game to the channel called Gym League. Now, I've been playing this game on and off for the last 2 or 3 days, and honestly, I've invested a lot of time and I've actually been pretty hooked, which is kind of surprising because for the most part, Roblox has been very, very dry lately. Now, I'm going to be honest, before I got onto this game, I kind of assumed that it was going to be like another game that I checked out a couple of weeks ago called Untitled Gym or something like that, something along those lines. But it turns out that that's not the case, and this game is so much more like a simulator with an actual progression system, and just overall, I found it to be extremely interesting and super entertaining. Now, when you first jump into the game, it's going to be a little bit overwhelming because there is quite a bit of stats that you kind of have to go ahead and work on in order to progress through all of the different zones and all of the different body alters. So I'm going to go ahead and explain to you guys which is the most important stat, because honestly, I kind of feel like the game does a very poor job on explaining that when you first jump into the game. Now, for the sake of recording of this video, I've gone ahead and returned back to the starting area. So once you jump into this game, which link will be at the very top of the description, this is the map that you're going to go ahead and start off on. You'll be given sort of like a quick little tutorial where you go ahead and accept the quest from this guy. He's going to go ahead and give you like 3 or 4 more quests, and overall you'll kind of zoom through this entire zone and be in the second one in no time. Now, over here, this is your stats section. So basically, the way that the game works is that you're working on every single individual muscle on your body. That obviously, for example, being your abs, forearm, biceps, legs, triceps, chest. But one thing that you might notice right off the bat is that when you're scrolling through, there is only one stat that sort of stays at the very top. Now, obviously, this can change because you can click on individual one and it'll actually push that stat to the top for you to be able to track it better when you are working on specific ones. But it never changes that stamina is at the very top. And when you do get on these machines, especially at the very start, one of the biggest issues that you'll have is this blue bar that is down here. Every single time that you work out, your stamina bar will unfortunately drop down, and at a very, very alarming rate, which unfortunately requires you to go ahead and pretty much stop, wait till your stamina bar regens, and then you can go ahead and pick up right where you left off. Now, the problem with that is that nothing in the game really indicates that you need to have really good stamina. It by far needs to be the most important thing that you focus on at the very start. See, this guy over here, he just got absolutely wrecked by the treadmill because unfortunately, when you are working out on your stamina, the same thing that happens in every single other machine can happen here. And that is, once that blue bar gets down, you will unfortunately get taken out and you kind of die for like a split second, but it instantly respawns you. So in my personal opinion, once you jump into this game, the very first thing that you should go to is run to that treadmill, get your stamina as high as you can. It's actually fairly simple to go ahead and AFK this, especially if you go ahead and click down here on the bottom left-hand side where it says codes and use the code SORRY. This is going to give you 3 mega potions, which are extremely useful in the beginning. You'll pretty much zoom through the first 3 areas, and honestly, maybe even more if you sort of save them and leave them for later on. But trust me, man, if you guys invest just at least 20-30 minutes on the treadmill, every single other machine is going to be so much easier. You won't have to worry about that blue bar, and you can honestly even AFK all of this stuff if you really wanted to. You can just go ahead, put an auto clicker, and just walk away. Now, as I mentioned before, there is a total of 5 gyms in the entire game, Beach Gym being the very first one that you start off in. Then you move on to the Underground Gym, with your final goal being to make it to the Cyber Gym. I'm going to go ahead and teleport over there so I can show you guys this, because I've been actually saving for this moment so that way I can go ahead and upgrade to the water. Because again, aside from the fact that there is all of those different stats that you have to go ahead and kind of max out, there is individual body alters that you need to go through. I guess you can kind of look at these as like prestiges, I guess, or maybe even rebirths, but technically they're not rebirths because you don't lose all of your total power. It just kind of adds like an extension and it gives you a better multiplier. For example, right now I'm technically a diamond body alter, which is giving me a 10 times muscle growth multiplier. But once I upgrade to the water body alter, that's going to give me an 11 times muscle growth. Let me show you guys here really quickly. We're going to go ahead and purchase water. And if you guys notice, I've lost pretty much all my size now. Your boy is officially back to square one. But if we open up our stats menu, continue, you'll notice that my stamina kind of stays at 100%. To be honest, I AFK'd all last night inside of this gym on the treadmill, which allowed me to go ahead and get to 41.6 billion stamina. Unfortunately, every single one of my other stats are now at 1 or even 0%. So I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't give me a hard time right now. Let me see how much stamina I'm actually losing here. Let's take a look. So actually, it's really good. To be fair though, I am only at 0 to 1%. As this percent goes up, you actually drain a lot more stamina. If you notice, my stamina is actually going down pretty decently fast now. Also, I completely forgot. I should probably go ahead and purchase some power-ups. I don't really have too much money, so we're going to just try and grab some of the important stuff. Let me clear out what I have down here right now. We're going to go ahead and drink all of these. All right, perfect. And then we're going to purchase, we're going to buy 1 protein powder, a bunch of protein shakes, a couple of Gatorades over here. And then unfortunately, we can only hold a total of 5 individual items. So let me go ahead and activate all of these. Fair warning, be careful with the milk because unfortunately, the milk will reset all of your boost. So do not make that mistake. I made that mistake when I first started. And yeah, unfortunately, I ended up learning about that the hard way. Either way, that's pretty much everything we can afford right now. Let's go ahead and take down these steaks. We got some protein powder and finally our protein bars. Now, obviously, if you've never played this, you're probably a little confused, but every single one of these items basically give you different boosts and they're all for in-game currency. Inside of the shop over here, there's actually a couple of different potions that you can buy, but you can buy all of these potions for in-game currency, except they're kind of like a smaller version. Now, unfortunately, this is probably going to take us forever to be able to move on to the next couple of altars. I'll definitely be having to AFK this overnight, but either way, that wasn't even the point of this video. The point was to go ahead and run by all of you new players because the game has skyrocketed over 100,000 players right now, which is honestly insane, but also at the same time, well-deserved because it's actually a really entertaining game. Especially if you're into like those types of game where at the very start you have to do a lot, but then eventually it becomes kind of like an AFK thing. I'm also kind of assuming that they're probably going to drop an update maybe this weekend. There's no confirmation on that and no information as far as I'm aware of. But obviously if that does happen, I will go ahead and make a follow-up video here on the channel. Either way, man, if you guys find these quick little tips and tricks videos useful, let me know in the comments. I'll go ahead and do a couple more of these because like I mentioned before at the start, the game does a really good job to explain the basics at the very start, but there's a lot of different individual details that you need to learn throughout the game that can easily be overlooked just because at some points you might find yourself kind of in this rhythm where you feel very comfortable, when in reality you're missing out on just so many other things that could be helping you out so much. Either way, man, I'm only at 5% here. I'm going to get back to the grind. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe to the channel for more content. I got a couple of different other games that we're going to be covering here during the weekend, including Gym League, so make sure you turn on notifications. That's gonna do it for this video. Like always, I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.